A lot of things going on, and Toni Miles is here joining me. I'm going to pass the baton, and Toni, tell us a little bit more.
Well, first, hand me your wallet, please, Joe, because as you can see over my shoulder, there are a lot of really wonderful gifts, silent auction that you can bid on. All you have to do is come on out, $60 a person, $100 for a couple, and that includes 2 free drink tickets. Is it quitting time yet? I'm just kidding. But this is really just the appetizer to a bigger event that's nationwide, which will be localized here in Biloxi at the Town Green, coming up on Saturday, November 14th. As you can see, it's pretty cold and quiet here at the Capitol, but it was a much different story earlier today with lawmakers from across the state gathering here in Jackson. Among those were members of our Coast delegation. We caught up with them to see what's topping their priorities for 2014.
Senator Trent Lott will deliver the keynote address tonight at the Mississippi Marine Museum for the 2nd annual general membership meeting.
Trent Lott is a former Senate Majority Leader and Pascagoula native. News 25's Shelby Myers joins us live from Jackson County with a preview. Shelby? Thanks, Shelby. While our state only provides enough funding to place about 1,800 students into pre-K classrooms, privately funded programs here on the coast provide this opportunity to even more children.
As Stone County continues to grow, so does its health care.
News 25's Kristen Duran shows us how Stone County Hospital is pioneering state-of-the-art technology and its impact on the economy.
Jason is still in the process of completing the world record paperwork for lionfish caught on hook and reel only.
And you know that was certified by the DMR. Glad he didn't throw it back.
That's right. The lions were decorated in red and silver, symbolizing wealth, red for good fortune.
And none of us wore red here on set. We missed it.
I guess we're not going to be rich at all. We could
Speak for yourself.
Out after a member of their camp was arrested for rape and kidnapping.
One homeless woman who spoke with News 25's Katerina Lukatic tells us yesterday's incident is not indicative of the character of the homeless population.
Fox 40 and Friends Toni Miles is out at the scene, and she's joining us this morning. Toni, what's the scene look like out there this morning?
Well, as you can see over my shoulder right now, it's pretty quiet out here, but it was a much different story yesterday afternoon after an attempted carjacking. We're told that a 61-year-old man, Harry Williams, was trying to fuel up here when he was approached by 3 teenagers. Those teenagers tried to carjack him. They were unsuccessful, but they did manage to shoot the man in the upper chest. Now, we're told that Harry Williams is at UMC this morning where he's in stable condition. Meanwhile, the hunt is on for those 3 teenagers. Police told me this morning that there were a lot of witnesses around, so they have a pretty good idea who these 3 teenage suspects are. Meanwhile, I did talk to the store owner's father as he was opening up the store. He tells me this isn't the first crime that's happened here. In fact, over the past year, I'm told that there have been at least 5 shootings, a number of carjackings and purse snatchings here. He says that he and his family are scared to even go to work, and they're hoping for more police patrols. We have a crew in the state capitol at the governor's victory celebration in Jackson. Here's what he had to say just moments after being named the official winner.
The door opened and a Secret Service agent came into the room and said, "Don't point anything at the president." And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Again, that was Governor Phil Bryant upon learning about his re-election. And here's more on our statewide election results. As you just saw, incumbent Republican Phil Bryant will remain governor of Mississippi for his 2nd term. Bryant beat out Reform candidate Sean O'Hara and Democrat Robert Gray, who just told News 25 it's been a good run. As for the vote on Initiative 42, the vote is 46% for 42 and 54% against 42. Back to the races. Joining us on the set, we have 2 local political analysts.
Now, on the Democratic side, we have Dimitri Mike. Thanks so much for joining us here, Biggs, from Moss Point, who has managed some campaigns throughout the Southeast over the last 10 years.
And our Republican expert is Frank Corder, a former Pascagoula councilman, political writer, and commentator. Really contested race for Attorney General, with Jim Hood being the incumbent and the only Democrat to hold state office. How is that race looking right now, Mike?
The Attorney General, Jim Hood, is still leading currently. I think that's a fair statement.
Okay. And on to Jackson County. I don't know that people so much were voting on party lines. A lot of retirees very upset about their pension plans, the lack of funding by the Singing River Health System.
So, Toni, you want to blow this joint and head out to the circus?
Let's do it. I'm ready to go. Let me take off my microphone.
I understand that right now the Cole Brothers Circus is in town right now.
And we're so jealous because News 25, Shelby Shelby Graham is out there having all the fun under the big top. Rub it in, Shelby, rub it in. Welcome to Action 10 News Daybreak. I'm Toni Miles. Let's check in with Emily Borchard for a look at our Thursday forecast. Take it away, Emily. Good. Thanks, Emily. Cell phone records may help local police figure out who was really driving the truck that hit a bicyclist last year. It was in July of 2009 when Barb Sable was struck while riding her bike along Ocean Drive. The driver who hit her took off, and it was just this January that investigators located the truck. Since then, they've been trying to figure out who was driving it. Enrique Baca, the man who owns the truck, says his recently deceased father was driving. Police, however, aren't sure that's the case. Cell phone records show the father's cell phone may have been in Laredo when the hit and run happened. Records also indicate that the son's phone was in use locally just before the accident. A 19-year-old Kingsville man has been found guilty of causing serious bodily injury to a child. Daniel Flores was babysitting his girlfriend's 18-month-old daughter last March when he burned her with a pot to get her to stop crying. She suffered multiple burns on her torso, legs, and arms. Action 10 spoke to the little girl's aunt after the verdict was read. Good morning, I'm Toni Miles and welcome to Coastal Connections. Hundreds of thousands of men a year in America are diagnosed with prostate cancer, but some men, like actor Robert De Niro, beat it, largely in part to early detection. And here in South Mississippi, now's your chance to get a screening that could end up saving your life. Here to tell us more is Dr. Joseph Catoni, a urologist with Garden Park Medical Center. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here.
Thank you for having me.
These screenings are very important. Tell me why.
Red eyes soon disappear beneath the murky waters of Claiborne County's Bayou Pierre, the site of many of the state's record-breaking gator catches. Conservation officer Gregory Washington Jr. believes high waters from the flood make this area a prime hunting spot.
Patrolling the port here, you'll typically see big gators coming across here, 10-foot, 11-foot gators just all out in this open here.
Last Sunday, a Vicksburg woman and her team caught this nearly 14-foot-long gator, weighing in at 686 pounds, beating out the previous state record by only 1/8 of an inch. The Barnes family just missed it.
Yep, we couldn't believe it. We were in here, so we must have drove right past him, I guess.
But the Barnes decided to give it another run this past weekend, and they got a bite, a big one.
When we snagged him, our reel broke, so there's no anti-reverse on the reel, so we're having to hold the reel, keep it from turning.
The Barnes decided to let him go.
We got a 12-2 last year, so I guess our hopes are kind of high, but we might should have kept the 10, but we let him go.
Not everyone is such a good sport, as evidenced by the remains of this gator.
Big boy.
Left to rot after someone shot and killed it illegally, just for the thrill of it. And it doesn't end here. Conservation officers will continue to keep a watchful eye out for poachers who break the laws of men and nature. As for the Barnes, gator hunting has become a family tradition.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Job well done.
In Claiborne County, Toni Miles, News 25.
Okay, so Toni, we hear that a bat attacked you while you were on that alligator shoot this weekend. What happened?
Well, I managed to catch that second round when the bat attacked me for a second time. Take a look at it.
Nobody's gonna believe this. Oh my gosh.
Right there.
Oh my gosh, that bat hit me. You saw it hit me. Oh my gosh.
Is it dead?
That thing hit me. Dad, no!
Toni, calm down.
I don't like bats.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have died. I would have jumped in the water.
I thought I was going to. I was trying to decide between the murky waters of the alligators or the bat. I mean, why me? Out of 6 people, it hit me not once, but twice. I hit it with my hand. I thought it was dead, maybe knocked out, and it came back
Only
to
Toni
life.
Miles.
The bats are blind. You were in his way. Come on. Be more considerate.
I guess it was my hair that was in his way for sure, but I got to tell you, it was really scary out there in the middle of the night. And can you imagine something slimy just flying into your hands?
I love that. I love the scream, though. I could tell you had to take the volume down.
That was That was very sincere.
It's election year. How, if at all, will that affect decisions coming out of the state capitol this year? We sat down with Governor Bryant and other South Mississippi lawmakers for that answer. We'll have the details coming up. This week in Philadelphia, a sea of red, white, and blue. Fitting the Ingalls workers from South Mississippi set up shop on the outer edges of Founders Square as they set the stage for a political battle at the Neshoba County Fair.
You won't be able to Google them and find them.
No, we're not talking about that East Coast Philadelphia, but this one, nestled in the woods of East Central Mississippi, 1,000 miles away. But here, the right speech can go a long way. Close the gap with a political opponent, especially with the primary election just days away. Past Christiane resident Melanie Gowan was making a pitch of her own just outside Founders Square, but still soaking up the candidate speeches and hoping whoever lands the state's top political spots will tackle the Bonnie Carey spillway issues here on the coast.
We have a lot of friends that work off the water, just like we do, that have been affected. Fortunately for us, Chandelier, Louisiana Marsh, we've been going strong. We always come together, help each other out. If we find where the fish are, we'll try to let the other fishermen know. So we're making it, but it has been tough. Well, of course, the spillway, tourism on the Gulf Coast. We kind of have our own entity down on the coast with the fishing, fun, food, and water. But I do think that the spillway is probably the thing that everybody has talked to me the most.
Over the year, a number of political careers have been launched here on this stage and broken here as well. But one thing is for sure, some of these speeches will likely affect Tuesday's vote.
Just let them fight.
In Neshoba County, Toni Miles, News 25.
Well, News 25's Toni Miles joins us live from Anytime Fitness in D'Iberville with her battle plan.
Diet and exercise, that is a key to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and I have to tell you, I'm trying to keep my balance on here.
I'm going to send it back to you in the studio, live in downtown Gulfport. Shelby Myers, News 25.
Well, why is she hopping on the bull right now? We wanted to see that live, but she is wearing a dress.
Okay, so have you actually written it? That would not stop you, Toni. If you were gonna,
I was going to ask you, would you mount up and ride the bull?
I think I would do it. I would do that. I still have a little bit of an adventure left in me.
How long could you hang on? Could you make the 8 seconds?
I have no idea. What about you? Would you do it?
I've
You
done
would
it
do it.
before.
Oh, please. Easily, easily.
Most pilots do everything they can to avoid a storm.
It'll be long, look at that.
But Keesler Air Force Base's 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, better known as the Hurricane Hunters, flew straight into the eye of Hurricane Michael several times Tuesday. This was just after the first pass.
And all of that information kind of gets funneled into my system here, and I give it a check, make sure it looks valid before I send it down to the folks at the National Hurricane Center in Miami. And they take all that information and they put it in their models and use it to fine-tune their forecast to make sure that the proper people are warned and planned, and the evacuations, if necessary, can take place.
It's a job Captain Michael Panasuk doesn't take lightly. Up here at the controls, he knows he and the crew are protecting those down below, including his family in Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
It's an honor to be up here doing that and collecting that kind of data. You know, it not only goes out to people we don't know on the coast in, you know, Florida and Georgia and Alabama, but it also goes, you know, it's going to be helpful for my family and my wife back home for, you know, evacuation purposes and whatnot.
We were firmly seated in the cockpit with a bird's eye view during this pass just after 8 a.m. Tuesday morning, as our C-130J cruised at 10,000 feet, traveling through the hurricane at this point at a ground speed of 214 miles an hour, with the eye wall in sight.
I'm back over to 200 for you.
And the information collected on Tuesday's flight will be relayed to the National Hurricane Center in Miami to better pinpoint Michael's intensity and track.
And every storm is different. It all has its unique characteristics. So this storm, like a lot, the strongest and worst weather is in the northeast quadrant. But you just never know what you're going to expect until you actually get into that storm. So this storm's just been extra bumpy, so to speak, in the northeast quadrant.
As our crew landed Tuesday afternoon, another prepared for takeoff and more recon.
So we're not dropping. Correct.
Reporting with the Hurricane Hunters, in Biloxi, Toni Miles.
Studio, back to you. Thank you.